Savers are losers. There is no way I can explain that apart from saying that savers are losers. Why do we always say that savers are losers? Especially if you're a saver in this 21st century, especially in this 2024. I don't know the inflation rate in your country. How much is the inflation rate in your country right now? Because even these big giants of economies on earth, they are complaining that their inflation, others are saying they are even about to go to recession and what have you. For example, in Kenya, inflation rate, depends on when you're watching this video. I'm making this video at around June of 2024, thereabout, at the beginning of the June, thereabout. So the inflation of Kenya, it's around, let's say approximately 6%, okay? 6%. And you know, in America, I think so, and you can check it again, okay? It's around 3.2, 2 point something, thereabout, in between there. This is where they say it's kind of healthy inflation. If Kenya can achieve an inflation of 4.2%, we celebrate. This even, we can even have a national address, or is it called a nation address? Whatever it is, okay? The point is, savers are losers. Why are you losers when you save? Why do we always regard you as a loser if you save? And I want you to think a little bit. For God's sake, I know everyone who is watching this video, you know what is COVID-19. This is not that thing that you can be told, you know what, in 1912, there was something that happened. No, everyone can relate to COVID-19. If I can use Kenya as an example to explain my point. Before 2019, let's say 2019, let's talk about 2019. That is like 5 years ago, okay? 2019, actually like 4, let's talk of 4 years ago, about, okay? 2019, this was pre-COVID-19. It was pre-COVID-19. You find like, I'm going to use a very basic thing that Kenyans use each and every day. I'm going to talk about cooking oil. Cooking oil in Kenya, a 10-liter cooking oil was actually costing 10.50, meaning 1,050 shillings. That's like less than $10. Less than, no, not less than $10. Yeah, less than $10 actually. It's like $8.5 thereabout. That is 10 liters of a cooking oil. Today, in 2024, the same cooking oil, the same 10-liter cooking oil, the same company, it is going for 2,000. And guess what? For those who are watching me right now and you're watching me from Kenya, we are about, or the government is about to pass what we call the finance bill of 2024, whereby this is likely to actually go all the way to 3,000. Fine, let's deal with what we have as of now. The bill is before to go to the parliament, okay? I'm not going to go the political way. This 10-liter is going for 2,200. I want you to just imagine what had just happened. In a period of 4 years, this is just like 4 years. Let's talk of 4 years, 4.5 years, okay? It's just a period of 4.5 years. What has just happened? The price has more than doubled. The price has more than doubled. It's more than that. Why? See, if you were to double 1050, it would be 10, it would be 2100. But now this is 22, meaning there is over 100% increase in price. And I'm going to explain to you why savers are losers. Let's take this case scenario. Let's say this individual, we have individual A and we have the individual B. The individual A, 2019, these are the individuals you talk to them, you tell them, please, don't save your money. Invest it. They are like, I'm not going to save. I'm not going to invest. I'm just save. Blah, blah, blah. You believe in the traditional kind of understanding. Now, they go ahead and save. So you save, let's say you save the similar amount of money, which is 1050. You save 1050. All right. And the whole purpose of us saving, because I said you cannot save without having these three reasons. Either you want to buy something, you want to get what you call the emergency fund, or you want to invest. So we are saving this money for us to buy the cooking oil after 4 or 5 years. Okay. Now you save the 1050 and then the other guy be like, good Joseph talks about investments. Okay, I'm not going to save mine. I'm going to invest. So you go ahead and take the 1050 and guess what? You invest that money. Okay. And now you tell them after 4.5 years, and after 4.5 years, you go ahead and do what? You go ahead and buy that cooking oil. That's what you want to tell them. After 4.5 years, I want you to go withdraw your money from your bank and go purchase what? That cooking oil. Tell me what happens. The guy has saved this amount of money and then you show up to a hypermarket. You tell them, buy the cooking oil. They cannot be able. Guess what happens now? He will buy less than half of this because the price has actually doubled. Are we together? Now, this guy decided to go and invest somewhere. Let's say maybe they invest in somewhere like an MMF. This MMF is giving you an average interest rate of, say, 12%. Okay, though I understand during the COVID-19 era, 2020, the COVID-19 era, the money market fund interest, by the way, it was actually ringing around 7%, 8%, 6% to 8%, thereabout. It was still above the inflation or something of sort, or if not was still above the inflation, it was at par, meaning you are not losing your money. Let's say you get an average interest of 12% and then you subject that money. Now the question is, there is something we call the 72 rule of investment, whereby you ask yourself, if I'm getting 72%, 72 divided by 12%, you calculate how long it will take for you to double your money. Obviously, it may not double within period of time, because if you were to divide this, you say 2, this will be 6, you say 2, this will be 36, you say whatever, this will be like 6 years. Yes, it's true, you have not doubled the money that you have actually in a bank, but then you should show them, go and buy that cooking oil. This guy will buy less than half of this amount. This guy would only be 2 years shy to doubling this amount of money, to almost buying a full package. So therefore, it means this guy is probably buying a 3/4 of this oil, by virtue of him investing that cash compared to this guy. This guy is buying less than half, this guy is buying more than 3/4, or say 3/4. Therefore, it means the guy who invested the money compared to the guy who saved the money, the guy who invested is actually getting more advantaged. And this is the simplest example I can give you when it comes to inflation. What actually helps us, or what contributes this anarchy as far as the price shooting and what have you, is the performance of any given economy. The shocks of the economy, if then inflation is high, because 6%, honestly speaking, that is a crazy amount of inflation. I understand there are some countries even are experiencing 40%, 50%, 60, 20, 13, or whatever the things, double digit figures, that's what we call them. Some others are involved in what we call the hyperinflation. So what we say is that it's always good to make sure that the money that you have is good to channel that cash towards a savings that is actually earning you something. Let me use that language of savings because it's so much simple for most of the people to relate to it. It is good to save, and at the same time, that money that you're saving on the purposes of investing, take that money, invest it, take that money, invest it. That way, you can be able to propagate to the next level. That way, you can be able to grow your money. That way, you can be able to, hey, guess what? This chunk of cash that I'm having, it is not idle somewhere. It's not eaten away by the inflation. Because what is actually influencing all this? And people might be like, hey, you know what? Our government is not performing. Our government is horrible. The thing that we have, it's an advantage and disadvantage at the same time, is that the economies of the world are integrated. They're integrated in the sense that you find if there is a cough in China, then everyone actually catches the cold. Why? Because our economies are integrated. For example, globally we use dollar as our common currency, sort of, if I may use the term common currency, that to trade. For example, if Kenya want to trade with Uganda, they have to use the dollar thing. If Kenya want to trade with something like Britain, they have to use the dollar thing and what have you. Then that means if there is something affecting the dollar, if the Federal Reserve decides to increase the rate or reduce the rate and what have you, then it means there is that what we call the turbulence as far as the prices of commodities are concerned. So the point is this: it is always good to make sure that you caution yourself from these shocks of the economies by simply putting your money into an investment, and not just any investment. You have to be informed in two ways. Number one, you have to know the current inflation that your country is experiencing. Two, you have to find out an investment platform or option that you are getting where you can invest that is giving you a higher return compared to that what the inflation is actually affecting that money of yours. But that has to be underlined by the fact that the first principle of money is not even investing. It's about savings, your money, making your cash actually be preserved. So therefore, with that case, you know why I'm saying that? I have to stress this because, hey, you might be like, okay, fine. The economies of Kenya, we have an inflation of 6%. And therefore, I was approached by somebody who told me that I can be able to. There was someone who actually inboxed me and told me, hey, you know what, Joseph? I have an investment for option here that you can be able to get 40% of your investment in a month. And I told the guy, would you mind to shut up a little bit and read what you've actually wrote for me? Just read it again and read it loudly and understand it. 40% return in a month. So if you take 40 multiplied by 12, do you know how much is it? That's like 480%. Meaning if I invest my money, if I invest my $1 million bob, I'm going to get like 4.8 times. Meaning I'm going to get 4.8 million in a year. I'm telling you, wealthy people will be putting their money there. Nobody will be bothering. Nobody, everybody. And then if you can be able to share with me 40%, then how much are you making? So probably you're making 50% per month. So you're making 5,000%. Or I don't know. I mean, what's going on out there? Anyway, you can confirm the maths that I've actually calculated there. I might be wrong. I'm just explaining. Those are crazy figures. Whether I was right or wrong on that, those are crazy figures. 40% per month, that's a crazy figure. It's too good to be understood. It's too good to be true. So be very keen and cautious when you invest in these areas. But that's not the point. The point is the savers are losers. And they are losers in this case regard. It is always good to make sure that you get yourself a better return. And if maybe you feel like it's so much complicated to invest, you'd rather even show up to your bank and tell them, hey, you know what, guys, fine, I know you won't give me a better grade or better rate, but then let's then fix our money. Let me fix my cash. Yeah, let me just fix it. You know, it is what it is. It's far much better than just having it idle somewhere. For example, in Kenya, fixing, it will give you an average of 8%. Maybe that is not even maybe, that's pre-tax, post-tax, that will be like 6% or thereabout. Maybe at par with the inflation. Simply means that it's nothing happening with your money. You're neither losing it, neither are you gaining anything out of it. But if you can get something that is giving above 6%, I'm telling you now, you're winning, because something is going on, and you can be able to actually, some of the cash that you people have, you can even invest it and live by that. Yeah, I remember there was a guy who approached me and told me, Joseph, I have 2.5 million. I want to invest. I want to buy a piece of property and build my own home. Then we did the calculations. He's a close friend of mine. We did the calculation. Then we asked ourselves, okay, why are you rushing to get a home? You know what? I don't want to pay rent and what have you. And I said, okay, fine. It's true. I totally understand. And I totally agree with you. But now, how much will 2.5 give you? How do you stand to gain? I was like, yeah, I understand. I won't be able to build like a dream house and what have you. At least I'll get a property of 1.5 million. Then I'm remaining with 1 million. I'm going to make something. And I was like, okay, fine, let's calculate. How much will it cost to make a perimeter wall? 600,000, you're remaining with 400. Now, how will you build with 400? Yeah, I can maybe then search for a land worth million. But it's true. Then you have 400 plus 500 that you've saved from the land purchasing. Now you have 900. What would you build with 900? Yeah, I can build something. It's true, you'll be able to build something, but you can go with that idea, but the point is, how about you do this? There is an option, yeah? So you're still working, yeah, sure. You're still saving, yeah, sure, fine. So how about you do this? You take that money, invest somewhere, say in an MMF. You're getting an X amount of money. Then that what you're getting out of 2.5, you can pay your rent, pay your Wi-Fi, pay your utilities and water and what have you. And you're living good. Do you know what? The next day the guy was asking, who's the best MMF? That is exactly you do. So that at least, yeah, you're living on the interest that the 2.5 is making you, and the 2.5 yours is there, and it's liquid. You can access at any given time, and also you're pumping in more money into that investment such that you bring it to a point where by now it's a bit substantive that you can be able to actualize your home. That way, you're not saving your cash, because you'll be like, okay, I'm saving this money because I want to buy a property, I want to buy. Don't save that money. Invest that money. Let it gaining something. Let it be gaining something for you as you move to the next level. It's the other thing, you find somebody saying, hey, I want to pay my rent without, for the case of the Nigerians, it's different. Nigerians, if you're watching me, just assume a little bit what I'm about to say. I know you guys pay your rent per year. For example, in Kenya, you can imagine this. Let's say I pay my rent for like 20,000 a month. And then I'm like, okay, fine. Instead of this, I'm going to pay like the entire stretch of the year. That's like 240 Gs. I can't give you that money. I'm telling you, can't give you that money. I would rather pay you per year. I get that money into the investment where it's giving me something at the end of the month. Even if it's giving me 1,000 or 1,500, for God's sake, I can pay my Wi-Fi, then I pay you the next month. So your money for the rent is there. It's also giving birth to some other cash. It's also good to make sure. It's also using that same formula to invest or to keep money for the emergency fund, and it's beyond 6 months. You find somebody has an emergency fund for 3 years. You're joking. Just at least have the emergency fund for 6 months. Then the other, you can put it in an investment where it's giving you something, That is it. Anyway, guys, guess what? That marks the end of my video, but don't forget to make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you comment, and as well, make sure that if you'd like to have a reach of me, you can always grab that number of mine, shoot me a call. Let's talk business. For now, it's a goodbye, and see you in the next one.